Okay, could you please tell me what was this assignment about? The assignment for ALL 154.
The assignment that I'm writing at the moment is comparing and contrasting two different set texts into an argument, so turning them into an argument.
So in what way do you think this is similar to the assignments that you wrote for AAD?
I think it's still getting you to go into what it's about. So you've had to, I suppose, go into the topic and bring out the points that will support your argument. So, going into like a fair bit of detail and then going, okay, well, that's the path I want to follow. What's a quote or what's a section in that set piece of text that will support what I'm trying to say? So then you've got an example of, you've got your thought that you want to make. Then you've got an example of how, that might be, but then you're using the set readings to support that and then getting alternative support and backup from the extra readings, the research that you've gone and found yourself, like your academic sources and stuff like that.
So if you reflect on your previous assignment, in your writing, in your experience in writing your previous assignment, and by previous assignment I mean the assignments that you did for the ALL, what do you think actually, or what have you learned about writing an assignment like this, like in a critical analysis? Or
I've learned a lot more about the structure, like setting up the structure of the essay, and how to actually connect all your ideas together and having a better thought about the order of what you're putting in, like instead of just putting out your ideas as they come out, reevaluating it and going, well, hang on, that idea doesn't flow from that one, but if you switch them around, then they do. Also really getting a good understanding of what it is that you're trying to talk about. So doing that extra reading and going in and getting those other ideas and like having those things as to help with your understanding, I suppose, of what it is that you're trying to say.
Okay. Speaking about the structuring of your assignments, how do you think what you learned from the structuring of the assignment, like what you did for the previous assignments, actually help you to structure writing the assignments for this unit?
I think the previous assignments that I've done have just made me realise how important it is to be clear about what your paragraph's going to be about, then be more direct about your example, and then definitely follow it up with more than one piece of evidence. But it's taught me to think about things I probably hadn't thought about before, to speak about the narration style of the text, like how that then affects the person who's possibly going to be reading the text, to take into account the focalization, the characterization, the closure. Is there any, do they leave you hanging? Aspects of the literature that hadn't really, I suppose, when you read a book for enjoyment, it wasn't necessarily something I had really sort of dived into before. You got the message of the book and you enjoyed it, but I don't necessarily, I really thought about how having it narrated through first person or third person, how that actually changed how I possibly felt. about reading that piece of material before.
Mm-hmm. So how did you find out that you have to structure your assignment in this way for the previous assignments? I mean, did you get any help, or it was because of the group discussion, because of your friends' comments? Or?
It was definitely in the seminar group discussions,
Mm-hmm.
and they covered it off in the lectures
Mm-hmm.
through this 154 subject.
Uh-huh.
They covered off a lot of key phrases at the start, which is like a bit of a cheat sheet for definitions and things. And like as they said, as we go along each week, these are things that you need to be aware of. These are things you need to be thinking about when you're doing your assignments and things. And then obviously all the discussions within the seminar groups. They're not something you wanted to miss because it really helped clarify a lot of the things. So yeah, I would say it came from those discussions.
So did you apply those help that you get from the previous assignments to your second assignment?
Yes. Yeah, I'm still not, terribly great at being overly succinct. But I'm getting there. Practice.
Yeah, it needs a lot of practice. And do you think you will apply those information that kind of help that you get to your next assignments? Do you think they would be of help?
Definitely is, because the more you do something, obviously the easier it gets. But when you understand the structure of how to set it out properly, then you're no longer just trying to write words to fill a word count. You actually understand how each paragraph is another step in answering the question. And when you know how to put your topic sentence down and give an example, use your evidence to back it up, link it to the next one, then when you're reading it, it actually makes sense. It's like you're reading something else as opposed to something you've written.
As far as I can remember, in your previous assignments, you also said that you've got help from the language learning advisors on your assignments. Do you think that kind of help actually helped you with writing the current assignment? Or what kind of feedback or what kind of comments did you get? Do you think they were helpful or?
The language learning lady was helpful. I only had the 2 short sort of appointments with her, but I think she just helped clarify for me, like when you're reading the question, like try and take away what are the key words from the question, and then go, okay, well, if they're what I think are the key words, then what approach would I take to come at this question, or like that sort of thing. And then she pointed me to the resources for like structuring and that sort of stuff. And like there was a link that had like a couple of examples, and it might have been an introduction or something like that she sent through. Because obviously by then I'd already done the entire semester of work. I knew the structure of it, applying it, knowing it, and then actually being able to do it.
So did any of those comments actually, did you think of any of those comments when you were writing your the second assignment, your current assignment?
Yeah. Because it just constantly made me think to go back to the question. Like, yes, you're right, you get your idea, and then you get your ideas for what each paragraph will be about. But she said, like, at the end of each paragraph, go back. Does this relate to what you're trying to push as your narrative? Like, does it make sense?
And
it was that feedback to just continually keep going back and check that you're answering the question.
What about the structuring of your assignment? Did you get any comments?